Hello, dear children. Namaste, and welcome to session 2 of our class in ICSE Biology syllabus, Transpiration. This is Ambika, your biology master teacher, right here at Vedantu. Okay, guys, so let me just remind you one thing very quickly before we proceed, before we get started. We are nearing the end of your academic year. Well, as far as biology is concerned, after transpiration, we just have one more chapter remaining in your syllabus, which is going to be photosynthesis. So to ensure that you don't miss out on any of our latest updates on this channel, please do stay subscribed. Click on the subscribe button right now. Okay, so let's move on. Let's talk about the positive quote for today. The struggle you are in today is developing the strength you need for tomorrow. So any hardship that you think you're facing today, do not give up on that yet. Do not give up on any of your hopes yet, because it's only aiming at making you a better person to face a lot of things tomorrow. Okay. Right, so remember I'd given you a homework in the last class. Why does the lower surface of dicot leaf have higher number of stomata than the upper surface? So this is the answer. This is actually the presence of more number of stomata on the lower surface than the upper surface is an adaptation to prevent water loss, because dicot leaves are normally held horizontally this way, which means the upper surface of the leaves are directly exposed to the sunlight, and as a result there is a greater risk of excess evaporation or excess transpiration occurring from the upper surface. So in order to bring about a balance, there are fewer stomata on the upper surface and a greater number of stomata on the lower surface of a dicot leaf. Okay, right. So today let us learn about the significance of transpiration, guttation and bleeding. We'll also talk about factors affecting transpiration and adaptations to reduce transpiration, especially in plants growing in dry conditions, dry environmental conditions. Okay. So significance of transpiration. I hope you all have understood what transpiration is and the different kinds of transpiration which we discussed in the last class. Now, why is it important? First of all, it's got a cooling effect, okay? Because just like I told you, compare it with sweating or perspiration in the human body, wherein it aims at cooling down our body. Likewise, in plants as well, transpiration reduces the temperature of the plant body, especially the leaves. Okay, so this would protect the enzymes in the plant body from degradation, because too much of high temperature exposure can end up denaturing the enzymes and making them, that would make them, inactive. All right, so this is one importance of the cooling effect. Secondly, suction force. This is also something we've discussed in the previous chapter. Transpirational pull. It helps in ascent of sap, correct? And thirdly, likewise, related to ascent of sap or suction force, we can also say that transpiration is a process which helps in distribution of water and minerals to all parts of the plants. Okay, so distribution is another important. So these three are the major roles that transpiration has. Now, transpiration does also affect climate. How exactly? Well, actually, a lot of moisture content we have in the atmosphere, in our Earth's atmosphere, has been obtained from the water loss through transpiration. So different plants, as you can see, be it sunflower, be it corn, be it apple trees or anything, different species of plants have different rates of transpiration, different amounts of transpiration. For example, there would be plants on our planet that lose up to about 300 to 500 ml of water through transpiration per day, which is roughly about half a liter. There would also be plants which lose about 1.5 to 2 liters per day as well. There may also be plants which lose around 30 liters of water through transpiration per day as well, especially the bigger trees. So all this is just bringing it down, boiling down to just one point. Whatever it may be, how much ever water may be lost by each individual plant, overall transpiration increases the moisture content in the atmosphere. So what is the advantage of that? A lot of moisture would end up coming back to the earth in the form of precipitation, especially like rains. Okay, so that means our water cycle is better maintained. So here is a table to for you to just glance through for a difference between evaporation and transpiration. Evaporation, you know, is simply the loss of water from the surface of water bodies in the form of vapor, whereas transpiration is specifically loss of water in the vapor form from aerial parts of the plant. Now, evaporation, we can say, is a physical change controlled by temperature and humidity of the atmosphere. Now, transpiration is also controlled by a lot of factors like temperature, humidity, and all of that, but also by internal factors within the plant body. Okay, so we can say that it's a very, very vital process as well, transpiration, to the plants. Now, evaporation relatively is a much faster process, whereas transpiration is a relatively slower process. So these are the major differences between these two. Now, coming to guttation, I think I mentioned this to you in the last class. Guttation is the loss of excess water from plants, especially in short herbaceous plants, in the form of water droplets through tiny openings called hydatodes. Yes, so this is different from transpiration in the sense that it's not vapor form, it's in the liquid form itself that water is lost. Moreover, they've got specialized openings which we call hydatodes for this particular process. Okay, now significance about when this occurs and all of that I've discussed in the last class. So this is just a recap for you on the process of guttation. Now, there is another process called bleeding. Okay, bleeding, now I know that term would probably bring to your mind the loss of blood when you get a cut on your skin or something like that. In plants, it's not blood because obviously they don't have blood in their body, but rather one common thing about bleeding in plants and in animals is that even in plants, it occurs during injury. But then it is not blood which escapes out of the injured part, it is the plant sap which escapes from the ruptured or the cut surfaces. Okay, so again, it's the root pressure generated by the plants which assist in bleeding. Okay, so this is bleeding and the other one was guttation. So here is the difference between these two processes, guttation and bleeding. Guttation is, it occurs from the edges of the leaves by hydatodes in uninjured, like normal healthy plants. Whereas here, bleeding occurs from any cut or injured part of a plant. This is the major difference. And here, the exudate, which is the component which comes out through the hydatodes, is mainly water with some dissolved mineral salts, whereas in this case, it is mainly plant sap and sugars. So here it is water with some mineral salts. Now, guttation occurs usually during early mornings or late nights, whereas bleeding doesn't have any specific time like that. It just occurs at the time of injury. That's it. Here it's usually late night or between late night to mornings, dawn. Okay, now guttation happens in certain plants like banana, strawberry, nasturtium and all of that, whereas bleeding occurs in all plants, almost all plants which have been cut or injured. Okay, so this is the major difference between these two, and of course they are very different from transpiration as a process. Okay, so now coming to factors affecting transpiration. As I told you, children, there are both external factors and internal factors which help in transpiration, which control transpiration. External factors, which are environmental factors, are mainly the ones you see here. Children, this is important as far as your exams are concerned also. So please pay attention carefully to this. Okay, intensity of sunlight. And also one more thing I want you to keep in mind, children, this is not something that you can memorize very easily, but rather something that you must understand. Okay, for example, when I say intensity of sunlight, it means it's going to be a really, really hot day, right? So do you think transpiration would increase or decrease? Compare it with sweating or perspiration. When the intensity of sunlight is really high, do you think perspiration or sweating would be high or low? Compare it with that. Of course, just like perspiration, intensity of sunlight is greater would mean that transpiration is also increased during the day. Then, secondly, temperature. Now, increase in temperature, which means a hotter environment, a warmer or a hotter temperature condition in the environment allows more water to evaporate. Okay, of course, just like we do for sweating as well. Velocity of wind now. Transpiration increases with the velocity of wind. Okay, so this is the third point, velocity of wind. The next one is humidity. What is humidity? It is the amount of water vapor in the atmosphere, right? So, what do you think would be the case when the environment is very humid, when there is a lot of moisture already in the atmosphere? Think about the simple process of diffusion. Do you think when there is sufficient amount of moisture in the atmosphere, would more moisture be drawn out of plants? Not really, right? So greater the humidity is, lower would be the rate of transpiration. All right, that is what is written here, humidity. And next is carbon dioxide. So stomata close if carbon dioxide level of the outside air increases more than 0.03%, and this would lead to a reduction in transpiration, because as you know, stomata chiefly open to receive carbon dioxide for the sake of photosynthesis, and the cost that they have to bear for this is loss of water through transpiration. So if the stomata are closing for whatever reason, it would mean that there is a reduction in transpiration. Okay, so greater the amount of carbon dioxide, in the sense if it goes too much higher than normal, stomata would end up closing because they don't really need that much, and as a result, reduction in transpiration would occur. And then comes atmospheric pressure. Rate of transpiration increases with an increase in atmospheric pressure. They are directly proportional. So these are the major external factors which affect transpiration. Once again, intensity of sunlight, temperature, wind velocity, humidity, carbon dioxide, and atmospheric pressure. I think probably like a wind velocity, there is one more easy way of thinking about this. Just remember, probably recall some incident where you were standing in some highly windy place, like probably like when you were on a trip or something, in one of those like hilltops or regions like that. A very, very strong wind was blowing, a very, very strong breeze was flowing. After you came back from such a place, you might have felt that your skin must have gotten dried up very fast. So why did that occur? It's because fast wind which was blowing, the fast rate of wind which was blowing, ended up drawing up or extracting a lot of moisture from your skin. Likewise, in plants as well, greater the velocity of wind, greater would be the rate of transpiration as well. I'm just giving you hints about how you can imagine this. Even if you do forget this while you're writing your exam, what are the examples you can think about? Okay, mostly I think if you understand the concept of transpiration as a process which is a little similar to perspiration or sweating in humans, I think you will be able to answer all of these. Okay, now coming to the internal factors. Okay, apart from the external factors, there are also certain internal factors, by which I mean something within the plant which controls transpiration. So what is it? It's mainly the water content of the leaves. If at all, by any chance, the water content of the leaves decreases because of insufficient absorption of water by the roots, the leaves would wilt, and as a result, transpiration is reduced. Completely makes sense, right? So this is the first point. So we can also say that such reduction in transpiration is indirectly due to the closure of stomata. Yes, we can also say that it's a natural mechanism for the plant to conserve water within it when there is already shortage of water. Just like in urine formation, if you recall the concepts in urine formation, we have discussed that reabsorption of excess water would occur if at all your body is dehydrated, doesn't have sufficient amounts of water. Likewise in plants as well, if at all there's not sufficient water content in the plant body, what happens is it would just close its stomata so that water loss through transpiration can be prevented. So this is the main internal factor affecting transpiration. Okay. Now coming to adaptations in plants to reduce excessive transpiration. Of course, I think I've already told you that naturally in dicot plants, the lower surface of leaves have greater number of stomata as compared to the upper surface. We discussed it in the homework question, right? So apart from that, there may be certain cases, like for example plants which grow in hot and humid conditions and all of that, in which the plants can't afford to lose too much water, because as such they are growing in an environment that is very very dry and doesn't have too much water there, right? So they need certain specific adaptations to reduce excessive transpiration. For example, one adaptation is sunken stomata. As in, literally, we know that the stomata in most plants is in the epidermis, right, which is the outermost layer in a leaf. So, in these plants, in desert plants and all such examples like cactus and all of that, what happens is stomata are located deeper within the plant body and not exactly at the surface. This is what we mean by sunken stomata. It is literally sunken. Or in some cases, it may even be covered with hair like structures, such leaf hairs or hair like structures, so that there is some sort of an additional protection for the stomata to reduce excessive transpiration, to minimize transpiration. So, sunken stomata is a very, very smart adaptation. Then, these plants may also have fewer stomata. The number of stomata in such plants may be reduced lower than normal. Again, an adaptation to reduce excessive transpiration. Then, if you have seen the cactus plant, the leaves are reduced to spines, right? So, spiny or narrow leaves in many of these plants, like for example, nerium, also needle like leaf shape, which means that there is lesser surface area which is exposed to the sunlight, exposed to the air around. And again, that is also a very good adaptation to reduce excessive transpiration. And yes, here again, in some cases, the leaves may get wavy, they may be rolled or folded also in order to reduce exposure, reduce the surface area exposed. Okay, so these are all adaptations. And yes, even in some cases, leaves may even be dropped or may be absent or changed into spines, as in the case of most cacti, changed into spines or modified into spines. So these are all closely related adaptations, mainly sunken stomata, as we have seen, fewer stomata, and modification of the leaf shape, mainly reducing the surface area exposed. Yes, and another one is thick cuticle. If you remember, in cuticular transpiration in the last class, I've told you that cuticle is the waxy coating which is found protecting the epidermal layers. So, what happens is the cuticle in some of these desert plants would be much thicker than normal, because that is also an adaptation to minimize water loss by transpiration. So the leaves may be covered by thick cuticle in some plants, for example, the banyan, and in most evergreen trees. Okay, so thick cuticle also is an adaptation in these cases. So, yes, children, I think it's time now to take a very quick break. And let us now, before we go on to the quiz time, let us think about some amazing ways by which you can improve your scores in your final exams. Yes, Vedantu has got solutions for all your education related problems, however small or big they may be. You can now avail the opportunity of being part of our unlimited live classes with fun and high level quizzes. You can compete with students across India and across the world. And the best part, in my personal opinion, I always love talking about this particular feature on our Vedantu platform, which is interactive replays, which means if at all there is any session that you have missed out after you register with Vedantu as a student, of course, a lot of live sessions keep happening on a daily basis. It's quite natural that sometimes you may miss out on certain sessions for whatever reason, maybe like clashing with school or clashing with other sessions or some personal reason. So, the best part is that even if you have missed it, you can watch the replay, which is not just like any normal replay, it is an interactive replay, which means even if the class may be a replay, the quiz is still live. You can take part in the quiz just like a live session, which would also mean you will get to be part of the leaderboard as well. And of course, after every single session, you get to download premium handwritten content, premium handwritten notes by your master teachers, and unlimited doubt solving, children, be it like a small doubt or a big doubt, whatever it may be, unlimited doubt solving with quality tests and assignments so that you can improve on yourself, get complete conceptual clarity. And as part of Vedantu Pro, you will get free access to 5,000 plus micro courses, which are chapter level courses, and free crash courses for different kinds of exams, your competitive exams as well. So, children, coming to the pricing part of it, we believe that less is more, because as you already know, Vedantu has always stood by the vision of making education affordable and accessible to all, and at the same time, without compromising on the quality. So, before I tell you about it, children, remember where to register for this, where to check out the details for this. Visit the link in the description box below and the pinned comment below, and apply the coupon code AMBPRO to fetch you the best discounts. So, what are these discounts? Yes, we now have two plans which are active for you, the 1 month plan and the 3 months plan. Okay, the 1 month plan normally costs you 2,699 for 30-day subscription. So, which means, now when I say 2,699, this is for all your 4 subjects together. Okay, not per subject or per session. It is for all the 4 subjects together. But if you apply the coupon code AMBPRO, you get a discount on this and get it, you can avail it at just rupees 2,159. When it comes to the 3 months subscription, you get to avail it at rupees 5,599 for 3 months by applying the coupon code AMBPRO. Well, for some of you, it is probably still a little confusing. So the best way of making a decision now is to calculate the per session cost, per class price. Okay, so a 1 month subscription would mean you have access to about 200 sessions. Okay, if not more, it's going to be 200 sessions. So for 200 sessions, you're paying only 2,159, which means, do the basic math. Yes, 2,159 divided by 200 would fetch you the per session cost, and that is just rupees 11 per session. Wow. Amazing, in my opinion. Now, I'm telling you this not as a, when I say wow, it's not like as a teacher at Vedantu. I'm saying this from the point of view of a student and as a parent myself. Okay, because these days, to have a balance between quality and being pocket friendly in education is something very, very rare. So we have a solution for just that. And the 3 month subscription would mean that you have 600 sessions that you will get access to, 5,599 by 600. That would mean fetching you the per session cost, which is rupees 9 per session. Isn't that just amazing? So if you actually think about it, this is ending up being even more reasonably priced, cheaper than your favorite chocolate bar, your favorite party pack of Lay's chips and whatever your favorite brand may be. So definitely, children, it's your responsibility now to make an informed decision. I have given you all that you have to know so that you can make the best of whatever we have to offer you. Right, children? So one more thing I want to add here is, some children say, ma'am, it's okay. I'm fine with whatever you do on YouTube. If that's the case, it's all right. I mean, it's completely your decision. But why do we have a difference between these paid courses and YouTube? I'll tell you, because on YouTube, there is, of course, whatever we do to cover the syllabus and come up with more and more interesting series to help you out. We will not compromise on that. No matter what happens, we will continue doing that also until you are completely prepared for your exams, of course. But then there is a limit, because we can't give you more personalized attention on YouTube, right? But then on the Vedantu platform, through these courses, through Vedantu Pro subscription courses, you can ensure that you have complete personalized attention also from your master teachers and from your class teachers, which means you have better opportunities of identifying your strengths and weaknesses and improving on your skills. Right, children? That's about it. So now it is time for a quick check. So let us get started. The special pore-bearing structures called dash is present on the margin of leaf, which allows exudation. Hydatodes, stomata, lenticels, or pneumatophores. The special pore-bearing structures called dash on the margins of leaves, which allow exudation. Your time is up. The answer is, of course, hydatodes, and the process we are talking about here is guttation. Yes, along the leaf margins. These leaf margins. Okay? Yes. Next one. Transpiration increases dash in the atmosphere and brings down rain, gases, moisture, salinity, or none of these. What does transpiration increase in the atmosphere? And your time is up. The answer is, of course, moisture. Transpiration increases moisture in the atmosphere and brings down rain. Now, in comparison to evaporation, the process of transpiration is dash. Very fast, fast, equal, or slow. What do you think? In comparison to evaporation, is transpiration equal in terms of speed, or is it fast, or is it slow, or is it very fast? Your time is up. The answer is slow. Evaporation is a lot faster than transpiration. Okay, so that's about it, children. Congratulations if you have got all the answers right. Even if you haven't, it's all right. Just go ahead and watch the replay. That's it, okay? But get your conceptual clarity right away. Let me remind you that you now know about the significance of transpiration, guttation and bleeding, factors affecting transpiration, and adaptations to reduce transpiration. Okay, so here comes your homework for today. What is the secret behind forests as a contributor of rain? Okay, secret behind forests as a contributor of rain. We say that deforestation can have a huge impact on climate change. We won't have rains and all of that. So what is the secret behind that? What is it that forests have to be able to contribute to rain? Think about it and give me the answer, children. And in the meantime, don't forget to click on the link below and subscribe using the coupon code AMBPRO to Vedantu Pro subscription. Right, children? So click on the like button if you have found this session useful. Please do remember to share it also with all your class 10 ICSE friends, because sharing is definitely caring. Let all of them benefit from this. And of course, stay subscribed to our channel Vedantu 9th and 10th English, because as I told you at the start, we will be coming up with more and more interesting and more useful sessions and series for you in the days and weeks to come. Okay. And by the way, you can also follow me on Instagram, Ambika_Vedantu, where you can find quick stress busters like stories and lot of other posts, so that you can find some quick motivation and something to just relieve your stress very quickly in your busy schedule. So that's about it, children. Until we meet again, stay home, stay happy, and stay healthy. This is Ambika signing off. Bye bye.